morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at a card which, quite frankly, it's going to end up being banned and expanded, right? It is definitely going to end up being banned and expanded. It looks, to be a little bit blunt, way too good. Only occasionally, only here and there, but come on. This one looks a little bit like genuinely, legitimately broken. I think this is going to legitimately cause problems. You have been warned. Apparently, according to the lovely Antoine Boulet, from whom we get our translation, it is called Vigor Shake, and it ends your turn when you play it, but you search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon and then shuffle your deck. You can use this card during your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. And why am I so gosh darn sure this is going to end up being banned? The answer to that is easy, because we banned Wally. And this is Wally as an item card, which is kind of dumb. Now, Wally, for what it's worth, said, search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon, excluding Pokemon EX, and put it onto that Pokemon. This counts as evolving. Shuffle your deck afterwards. You can use this card during your first turn, or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. Now, here's a really ironic thing about this card being printed. You see, Wally actually got unbanned a little while ago. Wally was banned and expanded, and the main reason for Wally being banned and expanded was Trevenant, because essentially you could go first, play Wally, get a turn 1 Trevenant, and Trevenant is now sat in the active using Forest Curse, which means your opponent is item locked from before they're even able to play a card. But then we changed the rule so that supporter cards couldn't be played on turn 1 going first, so you couldn't go first and get a turn 1 Trevenant with Wally before your opponent had played a card, which made Wally way less good, which meant we could unban Wally. So why have we now printed an item card that can do this? Seriously, let's go back to the announcement Pokemon made when they unbanned Wally. After the first turn supporter rule changed at the beginning of the Sword and Shield series, the potential problems with Wally were reduced significantly. However, evolving on the first turn can lead to dangerous combos, so the usage of Wally will be monitored closely. So then they went and printed an item card that can do the same thing Wally did, except, and this is crucial, it's an item card, so you can use it on your first turn going first. So now, in Expanded, we are right back to where we were, where you can get a turn 1 Trevenant going first and item lock your opponent before they've even been able to draw or play a card. In what world does Vigor Shake not get banned and Expanded? They banned Wally because turn 1 Trevenant blocking your opponent from items on the very first turn of the game was too disruptive. Stop the game being fun, stop people being able to play. Unbanned Wally when we changed the supporter rule so Wally could no longer be played turn 1 going first. And then printed an item card that lets you do the same thing as Wassy. No, I'm Wassy. Wally that can be played turn 1 going first. I feel like I'm missing something here. And to be fair, I'm checking with a couple of people before I upload this video just to make sure I'm not just sounding extremely dumb. But the fact of the matter is, this is an item version of Wally. I don't see how it doesn't end up getting banned. Now, the thing is, okay, fine. Turn 1 in Expanded, I can go ahead and use something like a Quick Ball for a Tapu Lele, or I can use a Level Ball for a Jirachi EX, and either of those things will actually lead me to get whatever supporter I want on turn 1. So you could all but guarantee if I go first I can have a Wally before they change the supporter rules, which is one of the reasons Wally was so good. Now, this being an item card is a bit of a weird one because it means that you can't do that. In Expanded, you can't dig with a Jirachi or a Tapu Lele and guarantee to find it like you could for a supporter card. But on your turn going second, I can all of a sudden start using stuff like Professor's Research to start digging for it as it is an item card. But bearing in mind, right, turn 1, I can still use stuff like Crobat and Oranguru and Cricketune. Like, I've got plenty of ways to dig using Pokemon. There are others, those are just some examples. So I think you can make a deck that can get this. And to be clear, right, a lot of the time this is fine, it's kind of fun, it's alright. The issue is with Pokemon who have abilities that block you doing something. That is where the problem is going to come in. Generally speaking, I think this is we'll get back to the problem in a minute. But just overall, right, this is a phenomenal card. It means you can search and evolve. We saw this with Evo Soda. And put very simply, Evo Soda let you search for a Pokemon and evolve into it. But Evo Soda didn't break the rules of evolution. You could only do it to evolve a Pokemon that would be able to evolve at that point anyway. And Evo Soda was a great card that saw a bunch of play. Now, admittedly, Evo Soda didn't end your turn, but even, when we're not talking about problem Pokemon and it's going to be banned and all of that, I think it's pretty clear that if you're playing an evolving deck, this is a phenomenal option early game. If it's early game and you don't really have many options anyway, if what you really need to do is start evolving up, this is absolutely brilliant. If you're playing a Stage 2 deck, then go first and play this, and then you come into your second turn with your Stage 1 ready to go. Yeah, that is going to make Stage 2 decks way more consistent. This is a genuinely over-the-top, flat-out phenomenal card, and I expect Evolution decks and Stage 2 decks to really play quite a bit of this. It is an awkward card because you kind of need to play 4 to maximize your chances of hitting it turn 1. But once you've had a turn or two, once you've got your Pokemon evolved and set up and rolling, you probably don't want to play it because you don't want to risk ending your turn. And that is a slight problem, but I think evolving decks are going to love it. I think it is a phenomenal card. I do think it is a 5-Wossy card. And I think, when I'm playing my Excadrill decks, I generally don't have great turn 1 options. Because I just don't know what to do. Because I don't have any kind of Pokemon that does decent damage or has a decent attack. So I'm looking to just, play some Pokemon and get ready for next turn. Here, I can search out this, I can play Sporter, etc., and I can aim to end my turn playing this card, because I'm not going to attack turn 1 going second anyway. This just gives me added consistency, and I love it. But getting back to it being a problem, any Pokemon, did I give it 5 Wossies? Can't quite remember, it's quite a ranty video. I'm giving it 5 Wossies, alright? This is a phenomenal card. But getting back to the problems, it's not just Trevenant. Now, Trevenant is obviously the big one, and we know Trevenant's the big one because Trevenant is literally got Wally banned. We knew that, we were told that. But there are other Pokemon around that have these kind of abilities. So here's a fun example. Take Dusknoir from Vivid Voltage. Dusknoir from Vivid Voltage has a lovely ability which locks Special Energy. Stops your opponent playing Special Energy. Good card. Well, okay, it doesn't quite lock them. It takes all their Special Energy and turns it to 1 colourless. But there are a bunch of decks out there that rely on Special Energy. And frankly, they are going to hate this card. And you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, Wossy, that's a Stage 2. You can't get that going turn 1 going first. But yes, you can, ladies and gentlemen. Because we got the Duskull from Cosmic Eclipse, which has got Spirit-Born Evolution. Discard 3 cards from your hand, and then search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon, and put it onto this Pokemon. And then you go and play this new item card to turn your Stage 1 into a Stage 2. Boom. You go first, your opponent hasn't had a turn, they are relying on Special Energy, and all of a sudden their Special Energy is broken for the entire game. That doesn't sound amazing. Or how about the Dracovish that came around in Darkness Ablaze? As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent cannot play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their Pokemon. So get it out with this turn 1 going first, and you're good to go. Or how about something like Altaria? Altaria seems pretty good here, because Altaria, of course, has an ability that locks your opponent from attacking it or doing any damage with Pokemon GXs and Vs. Oh, look. Go first, play this, and now you've got this going from turn 1, before your opponent has drawn a card, before they've played a card, they cannot attack your Pokemon. That seems like a bit of a problem. Or how about ability lock? Turn 1, going first. Yeah, you've got your Galarian wheezing. So what you do is you have your coughing, and then you play this, turn 1, going first, and your opponent is ability locked before they've had a chance to draw a card. And incidentally, outside of Trevenant, this for me seems like the big one, although I could see Dracovish being a problem as well. Because you go first, you get this out turn 1, going first, and your opponent on their turn can't use stuff like Crobat. Can't use stuff like Kricketune. Can't use stuff like Jirachi. They can't use those Pokemon that give them consistency. And I feel pretty confident there are going to be a bunch of games which are ended purely because you just get Galarian Weezing out turn 1 going first. Your opponent can only get abilities, but their abilities won't work, they don't have a supporter, and they lose. The game as we play it at the moment is played to be used with stuff like Crobat, and pre-rotation stuff like Dedenne. And then parlay that into your supporters. There are a bunch of decks that don't play enough supporters or can't find them or whatever, that without abilities would lose, and in comes Galarian Weezing to ruin their day. I started this video telling you this card was going to be banned. In Expanded, I will be genuinely, legitimately stunned if this card doesn't get banned. I do not understand for a second why they would ban Wally, unban it because you couldn't play it turn 1, and then print an item you can play turn 1 and not ban it. That makes no sense to me. But even in Standard, and bearing in mind, bans in Standard are very rare, if we look at cards like Dracovish and Galarian Weezing especially, there are going to be games because of this card where people sit down and their opponent locks them turn 1, going first. If you're playing an Evolution deck and Dracovish comes out turn 1 before you've drawn a card and you can't knock it out with one of your basics, you basically lose. That's not fun, ladies and gentlemen. That's not fun. I've already scored it earlier in the video. I don't think the score here is terribly relevant. I think it's a stunning card. But for me, the story of this card is very simply, and that's why the majority of the video has been given over to this discussion, it is literally too good, it is actually broken, and it will definitely be banned. And look, as I always say, and the lovely Primaluga keeps me honest with these kind of things, obviously I don't know it's going to be banned, right? I don't work for Pokemon, I don't make the decisions for them, I can't actually tell you it's going to be banned, but this is one of those where I feel so confident that it's going to end up being banned. But I want to know what you think. Am I exaggerating? Is this not as good as I'm making out? Is this not going to be a problem? Or do you share my terror of this card is actually properly broken? Let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.